Hi there. So I wanted to pop in today and give you guys a special episode to keep you on track, keep you inspired, and more importantly, hopeful and resilient so you come out on the other side of this with your business still intact, if you still have a business, your health, because that's what I specialize in, and more. So today I'm going to be talking about primarily what I do. And that's only because I feel like my whole life has been preparing me for this. There's been several incidences in my life where unexpectedly I've had a health crisis and had to not work in the capacity that I had imagined, and what I do during this and what I continue to do to keep my health resilient. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't say that do exactly as I say and you're not going to get coronavirus, or your health is going to be immaculately perfect, or do these exercises and you'll never have low back pain again. Like, no one can guarantee this, and no one can say this unless maybe they come out with a virus, what is it called, like a shot, but even that's not completely 100% infallible. But what I can give you is tips and advice so you have more hope. And sometimes just moving from a grounded, hopeful state away from a ramped up, stressed, and anxious mindset is the best thing you can do for your immunity, your business, and more. And I say business because I know a lot of you listening are yoga teachers or other small business owners. Some of you may be employees and are at home right now, and I know finances can be a source of stress. This is my own pattern, my own work. Going through this process of the unknown and not sure what's going to happen with my schedule, for example, and utilizing creative methods to still give my value and help people, but not in maybe such in-person facet. That has been my work for the last couple years, and I'm happy to share that with you guys, because if you're stressed and worried about your finances, then that puts your nervous system into the fight or flight response, which will then lower your immunity and make you more vulnerable for things like the coronavirus and such. So I will share with you what I do, the work that I do, because it is my ongoing work. It's what I'm doing right now to stay grounded and centered. So some of you know my story, how a couple years ago I was diagnosed early with cancer and had to have an unexpected surgery. So at that time, I really had to evaluate my life and my business. I had just found out that I had a genetic mutation, so the likelihood of me being diagnosed with cancer again sometime in my lifetime is high. And a couple years ago, I really had to assess, okay, if I have to go through another surgery again, and in fact, that surgery, I will be going through another surgery again. More on that later, preventatively. How can I still serve the people, my clients, my patients, my customers, in a way that I'm still giving them great value so they can continue to have hope in their life, improve their health and wellness, reduce pain, reduce stress and anxiety, and have more energy? How can I do all that if for some reason I can't be present with them one-on-one in person? So I started this investigation journey a few years ago, and it's funny because now it's being really tested, and I'm not quite ready. I'm not quite there. My business is still very much reliant upon me being out there physically present, teaching yoga classes, leading trainings, doing my one-on-one sessions here in the She Shed. But already I had made some changes. As some of you know, I moved out of my commercial leased space into my home office, and I started releasing more online programs. And so my work over the next couple of weeks, I'll give you the business side of things, and then we'll go more into my health routine that supports and enables me to continue to do this. I just have ramped up more of the online world, and what I'm currently offering my patients is the option to do online sessions. Now, many of you know I do a lot of manual work here in my physical space. It's very important to me. I love to get my hands on people. However, it's not the only way. It's not the only way to work with the nervous system. It's not the only way to reduce pain and anxiety. And I think at this time, it's really important to explore for yourself, you know, if you're going to a lot of practitioners that you go to in person and they put your hands on you, you know, now's the time to really explore your own innate healing. Not to say that manual work doesn't have value, because it does. I go to my own body work people and acupuncture sessions, physical therapy sessions in person myself. However, and I'll still continue to go when we're all back out functioning and such, and I'm still going right now one-on-one. However, what can we do to supplement this? What can we do to really dig deeper and learn more about our patterns of how we live, patterns of how we think and move that tighten our tissue, that restrict the blood flow, that cause more restrictions, that lead to the pain, that lead to the fatigue and reduced energy, right? That is the key and the source, because if we can get to the root of those issues and work on those issues, then your tissue and your muscles are going to be gripping less, tacked down less. You will have more freedom of movement. And so then when you go to your practitioners, you will be able to take things to the next level, right? So what can we do in this space right now if you can't leave your house, right? And what can you do for your business as well? So a lot of it comes down to both of those is mindset. It's the ability to stay grounded during this time, the ability to tap into your creative resources. So if you're stressed out, if you're anxious, if you're completely consumed with CNN, worries and fears, and listening to everyone else's complaints and fears and worries, then you're just going to cycle and you're just going to spin in your health and in your business, right? But if you can stay aware, so this is what I do personally, is in the morning I go about my routine. And right now, because I can't get to the gym, I can't get to the yoga classes, my routine is taking the dogs for the walk, first thing. Then I come back and I do my therapeutic yoga practice at home. Today is a strength training day that I usually go to the gym, so I'm going to do some home strength training exercises. Now, if you're interested in seeing exactly what those are, the yoga practice, the strength training, I do have a lot of programs available for you, and I'm happy to work with you one-on-one. We can get on and I can show you all this. I can look at your alignment via video, right? So there's still a ton of work that can be done, so just reach out to me. Head to the show notes, I'll put some links in there. Now, then after I do that, I have I also have like a wellness routine in terms of supplements and products right now that I'm really stepped up the game just to keep my my body hydrated with lots of nutrients and barriers, so to speak. Now, I'm not a functional medicine expert yet. That's on my radar. So, coming soon. And I'm not a medical doctor. So, truthfully, I don't know, like, medically, there is some research. It's not completely conclusive as to, supplements, wellness products, that sort of thing, like, for, how effective they are. But for me, I like to believe that they are and have hope, and that helps to keep my nervous system smooth and even keeled, and more in the rest and digest state than the fight or flight, which reduces an immunity anyways. So there's essential oils that I cycle through. There's some pre-made wellness like supplements that I cycle through, and like nutrition things that I'm really doing to make sure that I'm getting all and my family too, to make sure that we're all getting the nutrients we need. Like last week I interviewed Devin Ryerson on the podcast. I'm using his New Greens supplement. I'm making smoothies with I'm adding green powder in there. I'm adding other types of supplements in there, lots of superfoods in the smoothies, and I'm making them chocolate because my daughter, a lot of them are chocolate because my daughter loves chocolate and she'll actually drink it. So I'm, throughout the day, I'm doing that sort of thing. So morning, I'm doing some things. Afternoon, I'm having a smoothie. Evening, I'm getting another cycle of nutrient high superfoods, supplements into my body. So I'm having this round, and then before I go to bed, I'm taking a couple of supplements. So I'm having this round the clock barrier and immunity boosting system going on. And then at the same time, I'm cycling off because I don't want my body to be completely reliant on them, and I don't want to overdo at the same time. And the protocol is not rigid, and it's not strict, and it's not fixed. It's changing day to day dependent upon how I'm feeling. So I can give you some examples, again, if you're interested in the specific products that I'm using. A lot of them are from Young Living, and various protein companies and superfood products. So I can give you them. It's just, I'm not going to give you an exact protocol because that is really individualized. But I can help guide you through that, no problem. So again, that's another option. If you want to work with me, I can help develop this immunity boosting protocol. And again, I cannot guarantee that you're completely invincible. However, I can give you hope that you're going to decrease your likelihood of being more vulnerable, right? So that's what I've learned about going through and working with a genetic mutation where there is a lot of unknowns, right? And that's the part that's I really learned a lot about the last couple of years, is how to de-risk my business, how to de-risk my health, make my health, my business more resilient without increased stress and not worrying about it all the time. And that's the principles that I'm really relying on right now to get me through the day to day. And that's also, I strongly believe, will help to keep my business afloat. Yes, it'll probably take a hit. I'm hoping smaller, and I'm hoping that all these programs that I'll be offering you that are variations of what I do in person, because that was my plan anyways, was to do more online, offer more online, to de-risk my business and also help my health, because I am one person, and physically and time-wise, I'm only limited to a number of sessions that I can do in one day, a number of yoga classes that I can teach in 1 week, or trainings that I can lead in 1 month, right? And as a small business owner, a yoga teacher, a practitioner, you're in the same boat. There's only so much that you can do before either your energy or your health will start to sacrifice. So I know some of you intuitively have been already thinking along these lines, but now is the time to step it up. And I know in the back of your mind that worry and fear might come in. Well, I don't know if I have the tools and resources right now. I wasn't ready right now. I'm stuck at home right now. All these objections and obstacles might come into your head. But if you write them down, get them on paper. What's your worst fears, whether it be for your business? What's your worst fears for your health? Get them on the paper. Write them down. And one thing to really help alleviate those fears and worries is sometimes I go to worst case scenario. What happens if this pandemic and businesses and everything are closed, or functioning a lot less for a couple months? What happens then? What happens if, worst case, I realize that I've come in contact, or my daughter has come in contact, or my husband is sick, right? Worst case, what happens then? If you figure out a plan for your worst case scenario and you write it down, just having that plan sometimes is comfort itself. And you realize, oh, it was kind of end of the world, doomsday thought process I was getting myself into that was spinning. But when I have a solution, I realize it's not really the end of the world. It's not really, yes, this is not ideal, but I can still get through it, and I can get out on the other side. And through all this, it's not that saying that you have to look for the good in everything, right? This might not be one of those scenarios that people find or end up in a better place because of this. Some of us it will, right? Some of us will teach us a lot about our business, teach us the gaps of our health, the gaps in our business that really needed plugging to fill up, to be more resilient. And that will make us stronger. And that will make us better in the future. And maybe some of the good is that the world itself gets to rest with less people traveling and commuting. The pollution will decrease. We get to spend more time at home with family, connecting with those that are important to us, really sending messages of hope and inspiration to others, so we stay connected as a human race, connecting more, getting to know yourself better. So there is a lot of good that's coming out of this. However, I know sometimes that if you always seek for the good in a non-ideal scenario, like if you're going through a health crisis, there might not be that silver lining, and that's okay, because it's just life. What I learned from a coach I've been learning a lot from, Brooke Castillo, is life is 50-50. Some of it is going to be good and pleasurable and happy and joyful, and some of it is you're going to have those uncomfortable emotions, fear, disappointment, anger, grief. The important thing is learning how to be comfortable with those emotions, right? That's been my work, actually. That was my, the word of the year or whatever. So that was my word for 2020, is being comfortable with the uncomfortable. And so all of us right now are in that position. And you do have a choice. You have a choice to feel it. Feel all the feels. And learn how to process through it. So you're not stuck in the fight or flight, worrying about your business, worrying about your health, worrying about those that you care about, right? And so then you're spinning, and nothing productive is going to come from that. You're going to take action from a place of anger and fear versus action from being grounded. So the other choice is seeking out people to help you, like myself, or other programs to help you process this, to help you get grounded, to get connected to a routine that will keep things less volatile. And that's the other reason why I have my routine, because there's a lot of unknown, there's a lot of changes. But if I can keep some sense of normalcy, and I have an awareness of what I have control over, the supplements I'm using, the food I'm eating, the thoughts I'm thinking or choosing to focus on, right? Sometimes the thoughts just come up, but I process through, or I can sit there and get stuck in negativity, right? So you do have some choices, even though what's going around you, there's a lot that you don't have control over. You don't have control over what's going to be open or closed. You don't have control over that person that you came in contact with, who they were in contact with, or where even they were the last week, right? So you have some choices to make, but the only way to really realize the choices that you have at hand right now are to take a step back and slow down. The good news is that if you start these skills and this awareness now, they will improve and get better over time. So when this pandemic clears, because it will, history shows that we've gone through past scenarios similar to this, just different because the time was different, and we've made it through, right? So when we do get through this, then you're going to have new skills, more awareness, more strength, more resiliency, more coping mechanisms. So in the future, if something happens to you personally, if we go through another crisis as a society, if something happens to your family, your health, your business, you will have the skills to ride that wave as well, right? So that's what I leave you with today, is creating a routine to create some kind of normalcy for your health, for your wellness, for your nervous system. Be gentle with yourself. Carve out the space to process the emotions of fear, disappointment, worry, anger, all that. Carve out the space to move through it. Be gentle with yourself. Create spaces of safety where you feel safe and have some control over some things. So right now, my she shed, my home, are spaces of safety. I feel that I can let down my guard. I can focus on my work. I can focus on my family. I can stay grounded. I can stay connected, right? So your nervous system can downgrade, as they say, or decompress, or soften. And stay connected with others. If we cannot get physically in-person connections, know that there's alternative ways. And you have to think creatively for your health and for your business. And this ability to see outside the box, to stay inspired, to stay motivated. Again, you'll come out on this with new sets of skills, and you'll be able to hit the ground running when things start moving again, because they will, right? And so if you need help with any of this, I'm here for you. I'll try to keep showing up as much as possible with ways that just are coming to me. And I do have programs. So I have workshop. I have different price points. I have a couple free things that you can watch online. I have low cost workshops that you can get. Run one right now on reducing aches and pains and stress. I'm going to be releasing a meditation 101 essentially on how to meditate to reduce pain in your body and reduce stress and anxiety. I have bigger programs, the Heal Your Low Back Blueprint. I have a bigger all-encompassing program that's going to be ongoing, the Ignite Your Wellness Catalyst. I have online consultations. So there's many ways you can still work with me, one-on-one or through these other means. So notice the reasons or the objections that come up, or excuses, right, as to why you should put your health on the back burner. But just know that that's the number one thing you should be doing to keep your everything flowing, right? Your health comes first. Put your face air mask on first, and then you're going to be able to continue to help your family stay rooted and grounded for your family. And if something happens, worst case, you will have the skills and the tools to help get you through that, right? And I'm here for you. So let me know any questions you might have. Head over to the show notes for links to any of this if you want to get started right away. And I will see you soon. So bye for now.